You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Dibbly Dobbly podcast. On today's episode of the podcast, we summarise day 2 of the first Ashes Test between Australia and England from the Gabba. It's the Dibbly Dobbly podcast, and let's get started. Let's have a look at the session-by-session breakdown of day 2 of the first Ashes Test from the Gabba. In the first session, Australia lost 1 wicket. That was Marcus Harris for 3, caught Malan, bowled Robinson. David Warner and Marnus Labuschagne combined to put a 100-run partnership together for the second wicket, and Marnus Labuschagne brought up his 50 in the first session of play. Australia found themselves 1 for 113 after 31 overs at lunch. Heading into the second session, saw David Warner brought up his half-century. Before he brought up his half-century, he was dropped on 48 off Rory Burns. England were able to get the breakthrough and break the partnership between Warner and Labuschagne. Labuschagne departed for 74, caught Wood, bowled Leach. Him and David Warner added 156 for the second wicket, which put Australia in a commanding position in this test match in the second session. Steve Smith was the second wicket to fall in the session just before tea. He went for 12, caught Buttler, bowled Wood. Australia found themselves 3 for 193 at tea after 54 overs. In the final session of the day, in session number 3, Australia lost early wickets early in the session. David Warner was the first to go for 95, caught Stokes, bowled Robinson. Then Cameron Green decided to leave a delivery from Robinson, which he shouldn't. He was gone for a golden duck, bowled Robinson. Alex Carey, the debutant, was gone for 12, caught Pope, bowled Wokes. Travis Head brought up his half-century, and Pat Cummins was the final wicket to fall in the session for 12, caught Hamid, bowled Root. Him and Travis Head added 70 for the 7th wicket, and Travis Head brought up his century in the final session of play to take Australia at stumps to 7 for 343 after 84 overs with a lead of 196. So that is the session-by-session breakdown of day 2 at the Gabba for this first Ashes Test between Australia and England. What are my thoughts on the day's play of this first Ashes Test at the Gabba for day 2? I thought it was a really good day of Test cricket. I thought we saw very good battles between bat and ball, and it was a very entertaining, intriguing day of Test match cricket, and that's what you expect in Test match cricket. Australia, I thought Australia batted well today. They've put themselves in a commanding position in this match. 7th, 343, a lead of 196, so Australia definitely in the box seat. David Warner and Marnus Labuschagne, I thought they batted well. David Warner batted well for his 94. Labuschagne batted well for his 74. And their partnership of 156 for the second wicket was very handy for Australia in setting them up to be in this dominant position. But I thought the standout today was Travis Head. What a century that was in the last session of the day. A brilliant century. It was full of aggression, and that's what Australia needed because towards the end of the day's play, the last session, Australia lost 3 early wickets. Warner, Green, and Carey went early in the last session of the day, and Australia were in a bit of pressure, under pressure. 6 for 236 when Carey left. So Travis Head needed to play well and really need to get Australia back and running again in this innings, and he certainly did that. The partnership he had with Pat Cummins of 70 for the 7th wicket was a handy partnership for Australia and a much-needed partnership for Australia to get them up to the position where they find themselves right now in this match. So that was a handy partnership. I thought Travis Head, I think he proved everyone wrong today. This could be the making of Travis Head as a test player. You know, this is what he can do. He was striking at 117, 112 not out of 95 balls, 12 fours and 2 sixes, an unbelievable innings. This century reminded me sort of Adam Gilchrist's century at the WACA in 2006-07, where he went on the attack against England. Travis Head's century had a bit of Adam Gilchrist about it today. The way he took on the England bowlers who were tiring towards the end of the day. who looked lethargic and looked jaded and looked like not getting a wicket. Travis Head pounced on that and he was able to score runs at will. And he's put Australia in a superb position in this test match. And also, he's the first person to score a century in a session at the Gabba, which is a magnificent achievement from Travis Head. Obviously, you don't play the game for individual achievements, but nice to see he's got that record there. But a superb innings from Travis Head at the end of the day, and I thought he was the real standout for Australia today. And let's not forget Warner and Labuschagne's contributions today, but Travis Head, his innings was a brilliant innings for Australia. So I think Australia will be very happy with what's happened today on day 2. They're in a very commanding position, and they should press on to get more runs and extend this lead even further. My thoughts on England's performance today on day 2, I thought they bowled well at times, but they didn't quite take their opportunities with the ball at times. They dropped catches, they misfielded balls, they missed run-out chances, and a lot of things didn't go their way. They bowled without some luck at times. I thought Ollie Robinson bowled well and Mark Wood. I think those two were the real standouts for England today with the ball. The rest were a bit poor. Ben Stokes was poor. Looks like Ben Stokes has got a knee injury or something. Didn't look right when he was bowling today. Looks underdone, obviously, because he hasn't played a lot of cricket. He's been out for a lot of months. So maybe that is taking an effect on him in this match. He looks like he's picked up a knee injury. He's had the problem with the no balls on day 2 today. Obviously bowled a no ball when he dismissed David Warner. And he bowled other no balls before and after that dismissal of Warner that weren't called due to the technology being down at the ground. So he didn't have a great day. Chris Woakes bowled okay. Jack Leach was taken downtown by the Australian batsman who had a clear plan to be aggressive towards him and smash him out of the attack, which worked brilliantly in Australia's favour. And obviously Joe Root had to take him off and had to bring himself on, and other bowlers like Robinson and Wood, because Jack Leach was getting smashed for runs. And that's the plan that the Australian batsmen have. As soon as Leach comes on, we're going to take him downtown and be aggressive and not let him settle. So, yeah, he didn't have a great day with the ball. He took a wicket, but overall it was a terrible day for Leach. Obviously, dropped catches. Rory Burns dropped David Warner on 48. If he took that catch, it would have been a different situation for England. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. England's bowlers looked fatigued and tired towards the end of the day's play. Obviously, the lack of preparation heading into this first test match is probably catching up with them. And it's not going right for England. So England definitely up against it in this first test match. It was a mixed day for them today. So they've got to do a lot better on day 3 to try and get something out of this test match. What can we expect from both teams headed into day 3? Well, I think for Australia headed into day 3, what can we expect from them is pretty simple. I think they'll be looking to extend the lead from 196, which it is at the moment. I think if they get the lead up towards 200 plus, up towards 250, maybe 300, they'll be very happy with that. Travis Head's not out at the moment on 112. Mitchell Starc's 10 not out. So I think those two will be looking to try and up the scoring rate early tomorrow morning for day 3. Looking to get Australia quickly to 250, 300 as soon as possible with the lead. And looking to start bowling to England very quickly. And looking to take the wickets and put England under pressure. So I think that's what Australia will do on day 3. So it's pretty simple for Australia. That's the plan. Get as many runs as we can, extend the lead, get out there and start bowling to England. For England, what can we expect from them? Well, basically, tomorrow morning, they need to get 3 early wickets, quickly and as possible as they can. If they do that, then they start batting. And for England, it's very important to bat better than they did in the second innings, because if they don't bat better than they did in the first innings, then it's going to be a very ugly defeat for England. And they've got to show some mental toughness, some resilience with the bat. They're definitely up against it. It's a big deficit facing them at the moment with the lead 196. It's going to be a very hard task to make up those runs to surpass Australia and get the lead back in this match. So for England, they need to bat better than they did in the first innings, in the second innings. If they don't, it's going to be an ugly result, and they could be 1-0 down heading into Adelaide for the second test match of this Ashes series. So I think that's what can we expect from both teams heading into day 3 of this first Ashes test at the Gabba. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get the latest episodes of the podcast, and like and share our Facebook page, and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Until next time, keep safe, and bye for now.